Hello, how are you? Thank you so much for watching these videos. Do not forget to subscribe, share, and like. And still, if you want to sponsor or donate, the links are below in the description. All right, so we're continuing with our website, and we're on the side of the dashboard. On the side of the dashboard, we are still on the playlist. Now, I want to add a delete button so that I can delete a playlist. We've seen how to edit. First of all, we've seen how to view, we can view. We've seen how to add, we can add. We've seen how to edit, and then we're going to do now the delete. Now, there's what we call resources in Laravel, but unfortunately, I'm not using that because I am teaching you what I do with my projects. All right, so let me do this. So let's go ahead, and then we're going to add a delete button here. Okay, so I'm just going to copy from the edit button since they are all the same, and then I add to the delete button. So on the delete button, of course, the type is going to remain button, and button is going to be primary. Now the button is going to be here, danger. If you've done Bootstrap, danger. I can even go to this, the edit, and okay, let the button be primary, but I can make it secondary so that it's gray. If you know Bootstrap, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, please you go to my Bootstrap introductory videos, and then you get to know what I'm talking about. All right, so with this, I don't need the form data, so I'm going to remove all that points to the data. Else, if I save now, let me also make this delete. The button name is going to be delete. So if I save, I come this side and refresh. All right, so you see we have our edit button, and then which is on secondary, and then the delete button, which is in red, which is danger. Now, obviously, what I want to do, I want to be able to click and then I delete something right away. But then when I click, it brings the update because we still have it pointing to the model. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove the target of the model. And then I remain with the delete. Okay, there we are good. Now, the other thing I want to do, I want to make sure that this delete is surrounded by a form, okay? Because we're going to be submitting certain things, okay? So this in particular is going to be surrounded by a form. So I'm going to do form, okay, open, and then I close the form, of course, with the closing tag. Now remember, it is in the loop because I want to get the actual ID items, but there are very many ways you can do this. If you've done jQuery before, you can do it and you identify the ID of a particular table row or data, and also such examples are there on GitHub, but this is how I do, okay, I for one. So the first thing we're going to have is the action, and the action is going to equal to our delete route, okay? So I can do remove, okay? Let me do stroke remove, and it's remove playlist. Stroke remove, and then add my blade. So you know the blade handles, and then I point to the ID. So I'm taking out the ID. So in this case, our ID, you already know, it is this, because we are already in the loop, and then we take out the ID. Remember now, previously, I got my ID by putting it in an array. But this time around, let me use the normal one. So both of them can work, okay? So the method is going to be post. It's going to be post, okay? But then, if we are deleting, we shall have to change it to delete on the other side of the route. But we are posting now. It won't recognize certain items, okay? For example, I'm going to go to the other side of the route. All right, let me feed in the necessary information. So this is supposed to be post in quotes. Let me first feed in the necessary information. Now, we need to have the CRF token. Okay, CSRF field. And then now, I'm making a post, but I want to delete. Okay, so I'm going to also change the method down here, and I say, let the method field be delete. So which means we are changing the method here and we're sending a delete method. Okay, so we need to create a route for that. So I'll just copy from this route, or let me create another since we are learning. So the route is going to be route delete. And now, what are we deleting? Remember, our item is remove playlist. The route is remove playlist. And which remove playlist is now looking at an ID still. It's taking in an ID. See that? And then, where is that? It's going to be at principal controller. Principal controller at delete playlist. All, yeah, let it be delete playlist. It can also be remove playlist, anything that you want it to be. Okay, and then I terminate. So I'm going to go to our principal controller, and all I need to do is create that functional method. So it's going to be public function. All right, so let's go to the controller, principal controller, and then we want to do a delete. So first of all, we're going to take this method, okay, which is delete, just like that. And what are we taking in? We're taking in the ID. So which is $ID, the variable ID. Okay, so as usual, I'm going to do a die dump to see if we are receiving that ID in our delete section. All right, so I'm going to do DD, and then I do $ID, so to see if we are receiving that variable in the other side. Okay, and then I terminate before I even delete. All right, so I'll come and refresh this other side. Great, and then I press delete. Okay. All right, we're not submitting yet, so we need to add, I think, a submit on the delete button. That's why nothing is working for the moment. So let me go to my view playlist. The button, okay, the type is button, and it's going to be a submit button. Type submit. All right, then I save. All right, so if I refresh again, it should be able to submit now, and I see something. Let me double check. Type submit. Oh, I put it on a wrong item. I'm supposed to put it on this one. Type submit. I'd put it on the one that goes to the model. Okay, refresh, delete. Yeah, we see the ID, and then delete. This could be ID 3. We see the ID. Therefore, what we're going to do, we're going to go to that particular playlist that we want to get. So remember, we're looking at playlist model. All right, so we're going to go to that particular model. That is the playlist model. and then we find. Okay, so variable remove is equal to playlist, okay, the model playlist that we are taking from, and then find ID. You can use find or fail, but I'm going to find ID. Okay, so I'm going to do a die dump for that variable, so we see which particular ID it will bring. So for example, I'm going to do remove $remove, okay, and then we point to the title. Remember, that particular ID has a title. And then we see, so it's supposed to display for us this title. All right, great. So let's refresh. And then we choose to delete. So you can see it's going to delete this. If we choose to delete, it will delete that. Exactly. So the only thing we need to do is delete now. So we're going to take the variable, okay, which variable is remove, and then we simply delete. Just like that, and it's going to disappear from our database. So after deleting, what do? You're supposed to return, but let's do this. Okay, so I'll refresh, and then I'm going to delete the last item on the playlist here. So I've deleted it. So if I go back and I refresh, this last item is not there. So which means we can now delete from the database, but then what we want to do, we want to return back. So return, remember, you must be able to use the documentation, because some of these things are already in the documentation. Now, me, I'm using return back. There is return redirect. But since I already introduced return back in the second view here of adding to the playlist, that's why I'm still using it. But we can redirect. For example, if someone deletes, what can they do? They can redirect to another page. Or if something is submitted, where can they go? All right, so let's do it again. We're going to go and add an item in our playlist. Added item. And then we save the changes. That is one. We can add an item. That one is deleted. And this one is deleted. We're also going to add now videos to the playlist. Okay. Thank you for watching these videos. Let's meet in the next video. Thank you so much. Please do not forget to subscribe, share, like, or even sponsor, or even donate to support this channel. Thank you so much.